Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 6 p.m., June 21st, 2021. Time to call the City Council meeting to order. Ms. Rhodes, roll call, please.
Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Blankenship?
Here.
Mr. Buchan?
Here.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Ms. McGinnis?
Here.
Mr. Rainierson? Mr. Taylor? Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Brian Reese, prayer and pledge, please.
Thank you to join me. Our Father, we come to you tonight so grateful, thankful for another week, another opportunity for this assembly, this group to come together to do the business of our city. I do pray that you would give them guidance and direction from above as they make the decisions that affect our city going forward. And I pray that every single decision that's made would be considered as what's best for now and the future of the residents of this city. I know that's on the heart of these council members, and I pray that you just continue to guide them that way. Thank you just for the great last couple weeks we had since the last meeting and just all that's been done. I pray that you continue to be with our police, our fire department, our first responders. Just thank you for the good work they do in our city and all the other departments of our city that are doing great work. Bless them for their efforts. It's in your name we pray. Amen. We stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you taking time out every council meeting and leading us in the prayer and pledge. Thank you. So that gets us to announcements, presentations, and public comment. I'll start out by saying tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, if anybody wants to see anything exciting at 5 o'clock, they're going to be moving a house. So it starts at 5, we're hooked up and ready to go. So anyway, that's my announcement. We also have time for the Volunteer of the Year Award. I know it seems like the year's half over, but with COVID last year, it's really changed a lot of things. Anyway, so I'm going to come down here from people. So I will just say this evening, it is my honor to announce our 2021 Marty and Carolyn Williams Volunteer of the Year Award. And this award is named after a Franklin couple, actually Barbersville couple. Well, we adopted them. So it's a Franklin couple for their overwhelming commitment to time, energy, and efforts that's devoted to our Franklin community. Oftentimes, these efforts are quietly accomplished behind the scenes and go unnoticed. The creation of this award is to ensure that those individuals working tirelessly to better our city are recognized. At this time, I'm happy to introduce Marty and Carolyn Williams. Will you two stand, please? I know everybody in this room knows you, but every year I think, let's give them a round of applause. My applause is to thank you for what you've done, plus what you continue to do. So thank you for that. So, volunteers make the world a better place, and we are so fortunate to have an amazing network of volunteers here in Franklin. On our application, we have a question asking what 3 words best describe volunteer. The answer for this year's winner was creative, compassionate, and committed. This year's award winner worked to make our city better for all residents by volunteering for Bridges Alliance, an organization that helps families climb out of poverty and achieve financial responsibility. They volunteer at Grace United Methodist Church, the Interchurch Food Pantry, delivering Meals on Wheels. They serve their city directly by serving on the FDC board. And during the most difficult year all of our lives, she dedicated her time to organize and deliver meals to families in need through a group called Better Together. A quote from the nomination form says, "The nominee never seeks the limelight. She doesn't look for recognition. To be clear, this award isn't solely for recognition. It is to show appreciation for all that you do in our community." Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce the award this year. This year's Marty and Carolyn Williams Volunteer of the Year Award to Amanda Ott.
You guys are so...
making a difference in our city and a better place to live, work, and play. And I want you to know, during COVID, and last year, we had many, many volunteers. But this lady did it quietly and helped with the churches, helped get food delivered, helped get volunteers. It was really amazing. And I got to sit back and see that, so it was nice. So thank you for that.
You're in so much trouble.
This will stay here in City Hall to be hung on the wall with your name on it. So Marty, Carolyn, would you guys come up?
Yes, I'm so sorry you have to get your picture taken with me in my workout clothes. Thank you so much. It's such an honor. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. You gotta go there too.
Come on, Les.
Come on, Les.
You were supposed to be.
Is this what I did talking the last meeting?
Yeah.
Where do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Next to the old guy?
Okay, 1.
No.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And Amanda, I'm sorry for all the lies.
Yeah, right. Pull a tinker in your house later on.
Well, I'm sure you get some volunteers to do that. Okay, again, thank you, Amanda. Is there any other announcements, presentations, or public comment that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will go to consent agenda.
To approve the consent agenda, Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moves us to old business.
Read old business by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, this is old business. Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 21-04, amended, authorizing a transfer from MBH restricted funds, $455,445.93, and LRS fund, $544,554.07 to local road and bridge matching grant fund, clerk treasurer James Rhodes, and this will also be open for public comment, public hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is our normal move money around to make our match for the community crossings. After further review, last meeting, we looked and decided that it needed to be amended. We needed to take it out of local road and street instead of MBH. And this is just amending that. It's the same amount of money. We're just kind of moving money.
As James said, no new appropriation, no new spending of money, just taking it from different funds.
So we will now open this up for public hearing. Is there anyone with any questions? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. And we can't have action on this tonight.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mrs. McGinnis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to new business.
Read new business by title only.
Second.
Second by Mrs. McGinnis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Item number 1, and we can take action on this one. Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 21-05, authorizing a transfer from Riverboat Services 300 to Riverboat Supplies 200 in the amount of $4,000 for Treasurer Jane Rhodes.
Yes, we just need to move money for supplies from that. So it is just, it's all been appropriated, it's just moving money from one fund to another.
Okay, and I don't know if we need a public hearing, but I'll open it up for public hearing anyway. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and we can take action.
move to approve council business area resolution number 21-05.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Mrs. McGinnis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing, motion carries. We will go on to Common Council Resolution number 2021-22, tax abatement, RE, and Common Council Resolution number 2021-23, tax abatement, PP for Dajan. I'm trying to get that right, guys. So, Dajan Seating Company, Community Development Specialist, Ann Moss.
Good evening. Yeah, really pleased to bring you another great project for the city of Franklin. The Dijon Seat Company is coming here. This will be their first presence in Johnson County, only their third in the United States, so we're pretty excited about that. They are looking to build a new facility out on Linville Way. They're going to be purchasing 25 of the 40 acres that is located beside the former Shell building that G&H Wire is now located in. They are investing $15 million in this project in real property as well as $15 million in personal property, estimating 100 new jobs at an average wage of about $17 an hour. They are requesting a 10-year abatement for real property, a 5-year abatement for personal property. They are also amenable to a 2% economic development fee. This would be for the Economic Development Commission a week and a half ago now, and received a favorable recommendation for both of those. Tonight, Tim Conrad and Mr. Lee, I believe, is going to be tonight. They're kind of going to give you a short presentation to tell you about this company and give you a little bit more detail about what they're doing. So, Mr. Conrad?
As Mr. Conrad worked his way up to the 500 reports correct, this is already ERA designation.
Correct, this is already,
Everything is done.
correct, yes, thank you.
Well, thank you. As Dave mentioned, my name is Tim Conrad. I'm happy to serve as the site selection consultant on this project. I'm joined here by two representatives from the company. Mark Kim, who is the manager of Indianapolis operations, and J.B. Lee, who flew over from Korea. He works in finance with corporate. So if we can go to the next slide. Here's just a little overview of Daejeon Seat Company. If you ever are curious about the pronunciation, just call it DSC. So they.
That's my way out.
There you go. They basically produce the skeleton for automobiles. So the metal seat structure that gets covered up with foam and fabric. They have about 3,000 employees worldwide. And if you jump to the next slide, you can see a little bit of their history. They've operated for over 40 years. I think the next slide will show you their global presence. But fairly new to North America. Established their first operations on the northwest side of Indianapolis back in 2017. And then in late 2019, established operations down in Alabama, just outside of Columbus, Georgia, on the border of Alabama and Georgia. So this slide gives you a feel for what they produce. So this is, if you're familiar with the Subaru Ascent, it's the third row larger SUV platform that Subaru just came out with a few years back. So those are all the components that DSC produces and that actually go into the seats. So with operations in Indianapolis and Alabama, a large thing that you're seeing, particularly in automotive, is a call for localization. So you might be familiar with the computer chip shortage that is really hobbling a lot of automakers right now. They would like to see supply localized as much as possible. So a big component of this project will be taking stampings that are currently imported from overseas and producing them locally. If we go to the next slide, we do not have a complete rendering of what this facility would look like, but this paints a picture of what an ESC facility would look like. I guess two things to draw your attention to. One, a fairly clean production environment you'll see, and then a lot of technology, particularly in the robotic welding space, a lot of advanced machinery. And you'll see that in the, when we get to personal property investment. So here is an overview of this, of the site. We had a question at the EDC meeting. Basically, we would be taking, that's a 40-acre parcel roughly, and we'd be taking the eastern 25 acres. So the remaining 15 would have good access from Linville Way. We're not hobbling that site. I think that 15 acres would still be a good chunk of land. And then here's just a little bit of an overview. So metal stamping operations to support U.S. operations. On the real property side, if you're following real property construction, steel is going nuts right now. So it's still, until they finalize a contract with a contractor, that is not locked in, but 15 million is our guess on, our best guess at the moment on what they'll invest on the real property side. And then on the personal property side, there's also another 15 million, with a bulk of that being on the production, manufacturing equipment side. So with that, as I mentioned, we have Mark and JB here if there are any operational questions that you have for them, or I'm happy to field any questions as well.
Are they doing extrusion at the facility? They do plastics extrusion?
No, really.
Okay.
So I just want to add, it's not a question for this, I just want to add to the council, as we've heard us say before, and I know Bob, you being before on the redevelopment commission, and now Ann is, we've been talking about in the past how real property has been where the investment is, and it's starting to go where personal property is just as big an investment as the real property. And with that being said, we don't, as the city of Franklin, when you talk about TIF dollars, we don't capture those TIF dollars for that personal property, so it gets dispersed out to the schools and to the counties, the libraries, and that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to bring it back to everybody's attention to keep that on the forefront, that we haven't made a habit of doing it. So. Any other questions?
Well, it looks like they agreed to a 2% economic development fee. That's what I read.
Correct. And it comes with unanimous recommendation.
Correct, this does.
Since Sean's not here.
Yeah, normally would ask Mr. Taylor. but
No,
he's
that's
here
fine,
tonight.
that's fine. Okay.
Any idea on the timeline?
Well, they'd like to start construction as soon as possible. What you're hearing from construction companies is if you sign a contract today, you're not getting your steel until like February or March. So we'd like to be operational in 2022, but we realize that we're going to be looking to do that.
We have the opportunity to take part in various projects that come to our town. Some of them are positive for our community, some are neutral. I won't mention anything else, but this is a good one for us. Thank you all for considering our community. We're glad to have you. Thank you.
So, again, I don't think we have to have a public comment or a public hearing, but I'll open it up. Is there somebody, the public, have a question? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. I don't see anybody jumping to go to the front.
Well, we know all, so I just know what they're for, so I'm pretty sure we're good.
Dave, can you just go over the application of both resolutions?
Yes, the first one is for the real property, and again, that is a 10-year standard abatement schedule for $15 million, and then 21-23 is personal property, that is 5 years. Again, it is the standard schedule, 180, 60, 40 drop off. Both of them have a 2% economic development fee.
How did it arrive at our community?
This came through IDC. We had some really beneficial assistance. Amanda is here, Amanda Rudu from Aspire. So she worked on this, so this was truly a team effort. Really excited to have them come down here. They've been searching statewide, looking for an area. They found our location. They were looking through the state. They were looking through different EDC groups and things like that. Found the Linville Wayside. Pretty much narrowed it down to here in one other community, and they liked what they saw in Franklin, so they chose our community. I think some of the advantages that we had, that I certainly don't want to speak for them, I think they looked at the labor, and they found that even though we all know that labor is tight in this area, it's tight everywhere, but at the same time, companies who are investing in their employees are finding their employees here. We have good access to bring in employees from a variety of areas, particularly if you think about coming from the southern part of Bartholomew County, even Jennings County in that area. They're willing to come here and pretty excited about that. So labor was a consideration. Their factory in Indianapolis is over on the east side, so this would be an easy access between the two as well. So.
And the product will transcend if there is electrical vehicles versus
Absolutely.
electric vehicles.
Yes, yeah.
That's the talk I always hear.
Until they take the seats out of the cars. Until they put hovering.
That's why it's a George Jetson transmitter, so.
So we get our naps.
Different world.
Mayor, can we move on this tonight?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
And we did have a public hearing open and closed, so we are ready for action.
I'll move for approval of common council resolutions, 21-22 and 21-23.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome to Franklin.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go on to the next item, which is introduction only.
I'm sorry. I need to catch him.
Thank you. Okay, common council ordinance number 21-13, an ordinance declaring dormant funds. This is introduction only. For Treasurer Jane Rhodes.
Yes, thank you, sir. Going through our funds, we noticed that there were 2 funds that we had that had 0 balance. So we would like to have your okay to declare those dormant and to get rid of them. It's a housekeeping type thing, it just makes it easier. So this is introduction only, and I'll bring it back next month for your approval.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item is also introduction tonight. Common Council Ordinance number 21-14, an ordinance approving a resolution of the City of Franklin Plan Commission and annexing certain property contiguous to the Franklin corporate limits to be known as Kings Bridge Annexation. You're not Joanna. Hi, Alex Gretchel, Planning Department.
Good evening. Here tonight, as Mayor Steve has mentioned, to introduce the annexation known as Kingsbridge annexation, which is approximately 33.1 acres. It's southeast of the Knollwood addition. It's, again, it's for introduction only. It comes to you from the Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation. They voted 10-0 for a favorable recommendation to be forwarded to you. The request is docketed for a public hearing on the July 6th meeting.
I believe Mr. Huddleston is here for the other Mr. Huddleston. This is introduction only.
So certainly the council can ask anything they want, but like I said, it's introduction. So is there any questions for Alex or Mr. Huddleston while they're here?
With how many lots are they anticipating?
The development is combined, it's
Okay.
right along 31.
Commercial and
Yeah, there's a
residential?
commercial, it's in our gateway overlay zone. There's some parks that will have a full presentation with Mr. Huddleston or Mr. Huddleston, I don't know which one, at the next meeting.
Okay.
But it has a combination, Counselor, of both commercial and residential.
This specific piece, the majority of it is for residential and parks. That's being worked out. It's part of a larger development that goes all the way east over to 31, where there's some mixed use in there and some varying size lots of residential. But this piece is primarily residential and park or drainage on, if you will, if you see the map there to the.
Thank you, Karen.
Well, it'd be very nice to get that park up there. So, there's 714 homes in Knollwood, and, there's really no park up there, but that's 28 acres, if I'm not mistaken, that's been really donated, for lack of better word, and to this plan. And that goes a long way. It's going to connect eventually to Franklin High School, which connects to downtown Franklin and east side, west side trail system. So this north side piece has been needed for a very long time and been talked about for well over a decade. So I'm excited. It's a really nice proposed homes in there too as well. Very nice.
Thank you, Al. Okay, next one is also introduction. Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 21-16 and additional appropriation ordinance grants Johnson County RMC, police, AEDs, supplies 200, and amount of $4,975. Deputy Chief Scott Summers.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Mayor just pretty much said it all. We've received a grant from Johnson County RMC in the amount stated of $4,975. And we're just asking for those funds to be appropriated for us to buy AEDs.
It's introductions. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Under other business, we have something that I was wanting to bring with. So let's go ahead and try to wing this. How's that? There it is. Okay, so I've gotten plenty of questions from the American Rescue Plan. The funds that the government has given to cities to help with the pandemic. And quite honestly, right now, we don't know, we haven't received any funds, and we don't know exactly what funds we're going to receive, because when the state or the federal government thought they had it all lined out, they figured out they left some townships out. So the townships, I think there's 8 states left that has townships. If Indiana chooses, and we haven't heard a ruling yet from the governor, but if townships receive money, it will reduce the funds that we'll receive. So that's why we haven't talked a lot about it yet. We haven't gotten the funds. We don't know what funds we're going to get. And quite honestly, we have been, Lynn and Jane and myself and Sharon, we have talked to many people, listened to many seminars, and there's not a whole lot of direction yet of what you can and can't. What I'm looking to present to the council when we get that guidance on yes, you can do this or no, you can't do that. We know that there's lost revenue that we can get. We're thinking for the city, we're going to have about $750,000 to $1 million of revenue loss. Mr. Jeff Peters is working on that. Also, we've been, over the years, we've talked about our active adult center. It needs to be rebuilt. And quite honestly, the senior population, that's been the most affected during the pandemic. There's no doubt about it. The place is too small for social distancing. The building's old. It's in dire need of major overhaul. And we need to protect the health of our most vulnerable, which is our active adults. The other item that we've talked about maybe using it for remodel Fire Station 21. Our fire department, they more or less led our COVID team through this, and they've done an excellent job. Fire Station 21 is our oldest station. It was built in 1974, and we've been talking, I know, for several years before Mayor McGinnis left. He was even looking at replacing or rebuilding or whatever we needed to do there. And with that, it was a $5 million price tag at that time. So what, the living quarters is not as accommodating as Fire Station 22 and 23. So they definitely need more space to social distance and take care of our city and stay in good health. So I'm working with Cripe Engineering firm. We're looking at scenarios with both of those on what we need to do to remodel Fire Station 21, to completely rebuild. We looked at remodeling our active adult center, and it's just too far gone. There's not much hope there to remodel. The next thing I'm just giving you scenarios of what we could use it for. It doesn't mean that's what we're setting in stone. I'll be bringing back a complete plan to you when we get exactly what we can do. Like, for example, the active adult center, there may be things, I heard just one thing, that you can use it to build it back, but you can't use it to tear it down. So, okay, so that's where we have to come back with the details on what's there. Also, our FDC is working on 2 low-income housing projects, and if it's anything possible, I think it would be a good opportunity to help the FDC to remodel these 2 low-income housing projects and get them back on the market. It's some houses that was just sitting there not collecting taxes, and that, I think, is a good use for it, and it acts like that is one that could work. Also, matching grant for DPW. We got some projects that we need to do at the DPW to comply with the Clean Water Act, and so that's 5 good scenarios of where we can use the money when we get more guidance on what we can use it for. So that's where we're at. I wanted to bring it to the council and let you know what we're thinking about, and then whenever we, like I said, we all get a plan, we'll bring it to you, and hopefully we can all be on board and we can use this money in a very wise way for our city.
If you recall, you already passed the ordinance on allowing us to take clearly you're going to pay them. But part of that ordinance was you would approve in a detailed plan. So when we figured out the rules, they changed on us. We did learn last week that whatever money we get, we can earn interest on. And then the follow-up question I asked was, well, can you spend the interest money on anything, or can you just spend the guidelines? They'll get back to us on that. So,
well, first we
kind of change. We couldn't even get interest
Yeah,
first.
we
And I
couldn't
said, well, that's silly. At $5 million, you can't get interest. And so it's the effort to change the process.
And with AIM and all these mayor meetings that we go to, everybody's in the same boat. It's amazing to me. It's like, okay, you have these funds, but nobody knows what you're going to use it for. Unless you don't use it for the right thing, in the end, and you get audited, you have to end up paying it back. So that's where we're being real careful. Is there any questions for me on that? Yes, ma'am.
I want to add one more, and I know it's one you're already aware of, Mayor, because we've had a conversation about it, but I don't expect this money to be used for that, but again, I don't need to remind you that you're working on already, but upgrades at Scott Park at some point, I think,
Yes.
are something that should always keep on our radar.
Yes. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll talk, that's another subject. Yeah.
Maybe another discussion, another time.
Yeah, and with Scott Park, what Mr. Deacon's talking about is every year you get that it gets crowded at our baseball diamonds. There's no doubt about it. It's not big enough. The traffic is a nightmare. And we try to, and every year we answer the same question, why can't we take it to Commerce? We can't take it to Commerce because we can't get the property to get us to Commerce. So that's the reason that it doesn't go to Commerce. So we're either going to have to figure out down the road, Bob, to figure that out or find a new location. So we may be looking at a location down the road, and I know Sean Taylor and I talked about a couple of scenarios that we might be working on down the road. So anyway, thank you.
And again, there's no criticism, just I know you're aware of it, I just, for the sake of those present, just want to keep it out there.
Take that. Is there any other questions about the funds? Pass those. So I just want to give everybody an update. What I passed out here to the council is an update. You can go to the EPA website, and it's on the website, so that's where this comes from. And what, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't know how long it's been, there was some kind of a, I don't even want to call it a study because it was no real study done. If the bill report come out, I don't know if you guys heard that, they're saying the plume is this, the plume is that. Well, I'm not an expert. We have experts working for the city, and we also have the EPA, and I'm real proud that the EPA has answered that question. And they're really questioning, if you can, anybody in the crowd can go to the website, you can see their response. They're really questioning the data that was used. And so I'd have to say this is one of the first times that I was pleased that the EPA stood up to the plate and answered questions or had answers to the report that come out that they seem, I'm not trying to put words in their mouth, but if you read the report, it seems like they didn't agree with the report. So that's all we got to say about that one. I will tell you that since I've been mayor 4 years and 4 months, I've been working on contamination stuff for 4 years. And quite honestly, I'm getting sick to death of it. And I'm sure all of us are that lives in the city because all the false information that keeps getting put out all the time. And once and for all, I hope that we can bring this to conclusion soon. I will tell you that everything that IDEM has done, they've tested. They have, IDEM was at the Hopeland Cannon Factory. It's like 45% done. They know where the plume is. They know where any kind of contamination is. They have been working on that for at least 3 years, and they're making progress all the time. They will get, it's in an area that it's, like I said, it's defined, and they're going to get that handled. Franklin Power Products site, it's that no further action needed. The Warrior Oil, no further action needed. Co-op site, no further action needed. In other words, they did all this testing and they didn't find anything. That's why there's no further action needed. At the Amphenol site, they are 65% complete. They're still there working on the site. They know where they need to be at. They're within a year away of being real close to being completed on that site. So I just wanted to get that out here because I've been getting a lot of questions because of this report come out. So I wanted to get that report out that EPA has answered that. And I'll be glad to answer any questions on that matter if you have any.
Maybe later on, after I read this.
That sounds good. So I don't have anything else that I want to bring up tonight because I thought it was a short meeting and I know Ann's in a hurry. I see her looking at her watch twice. So.
Calling me out.
Yes, it should. See, let's go. So anyway, I just want to get that out there. We had a short meeting and we had time to discuss it a little bit. I'll take any questions for any of that you have. Hearing council comments. So we'll go on to Mr. Blankenship.
No comments, sir.
No comment. Mrs. Jones.
Nothing, sir.
Okay, Mr. Austin. Anything? Mr. Dugan.
No comments, Mayor.
Mrs. McGinnis.
I just have one quick question. Where is the house that's being moved to? Where is it being moved to?
Yes.
Your yard?
Madison and Pearl, right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
I think it's
That
about
fence
to
small.
that question.
Isn't it going down?
Yes, it's gonna go down here to home, correct? And then up home to Madison and
Okay.
then down Madison.
Right in front of the girls' club, turn right there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So they're staying 4 hours, we're staying, yeah, that's longer. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be impressive.
Depends on who's driving.
It-
I was gonna say, he's driving. He's gonna be on 2 wheels going around home.
Glad that tree was there, but the house can fall off. Anything else? Hearing none, we're ready to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.